right. Hi, everybody. It's so good to be here with you today. It is an overcast Friday. Let's see, today is, oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th. I didn't even realize it. So, some people say that it's unlucky 13, but I like to think that it's a lucky 13, like a baker's dozen, right? Oh man. So I feel like we're finally getting our what do you call it? Our weather back in alignment with what the I'm sorry, like my phone just started ringing and I thought I set it to do not disturb, but it rang anyway. So I got sidetracked there. Anyway, the weather is gorgeous. It feels like we're actually in autumn again, although I hear that it's going to heat up again. So I don't know what's going on in the Pacific Northwest, but it's beautiful and I am enjoying it. So here we go. Let's see. So today, my name is Miri Pizann. I am a gluten-free coach and mentor. I am also the host here at the League of Gluten-Free Adventurers, and it is my joy and privilege to welcome you here on this live so that we can chat about whatever kind of gluten-free issues that you've got going. And hi, Andy, who is watching from Los Angeles. I'm so glad you're here today. Yeah, I have got about 10 years of experience being gluten-free at this point, and it doesn't sound like it, but it's actually lucky for you because what I did was I made all the mistakes when I was learning how to go gluten-free, which is to your benefit because I learned from every single one of them and I don't make them anymore. And now I know how to avoid them. And so after learning from this beautiful the greater gluten-free community, it has been my desire to give back to everybody and to help those who are still struggling, because it turns out that you don't have to struggle. It can be, I'm not going to say it's not that going gluten-free is joyful, but boy, feeling like you don't have to deal with symptoms, that part's joyful. And getting to eat foods that you love, that part is also joyful. So there's some really good stuff in here. I mean, like living a healthy life, that's just absolutely amazing. And I want that for you. I want you to feel good physically, mentally, and emotionally in your gluten-free life. So that's what we're here today to help with. So my topic for today is changing how you think in order to get a better gluten-free life. And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm a big believer in having, you know what it is? It's like, I believe in foundations. If you build a strong foundation, just like with a house, whatever you build on it is going to be strong. But if you don't have that basis in place, strong and ready to support you, everything falls apart, right? And so thinking is the foundation for actions. If you want to have actions that are powerful and integrated and aligned, you have to start with how you're thinking about things. And we like to think that, oh, I can't control my thoughts, but it's not as hard as it actually sounds. Let me give you an example. A very dear friend of mine who has since passed away because cancer sucks. But her name was Julie. And Julie had the most infectious laugh. And she had this big, beautiful smile. And she had that for everyone. Everyone, everywhere she went, everyone that she spoke to, she smiled big and she just like was always full of love and life, right? And what that did was everyone would just bend over backwards for her. It was absolutely astounding. Like they just poured love on Julie. And it was my absolute joy to be her friend for like almost 20 years. Oh my God. But she was just one of those people that always had a smile for everyone. She was relentlessly cheerful, and even total strangers bent over backwards to help her. And it's a thing that, like, our emotional state and the way that we hold our thoughts and hold our being affects everyone around us, right? You've heard the story about kicking the dog, right? The guy goes to work and his boss yells at him, and so he comes home and he yells at his kids, and the kids get upset because they got yelled at, and so they kick the dog. And so but like, it can go the other way too. It's not always about having the bad attitude and that affects everybody. It can be having a joyful attitude, and finding the silver lining can actually affect how other people interact with us too. So, and I'm not saying that if you're having a bad day, you just have to fake it. I'm not talking about toxic positivity, but what I am talking about is acknowledging your feelings, acknowledging that maybe this was rough, but finding something good to come out of it, right? Emotions come from our thoughts and how we frame what we're looking at and what we're thinking about. And when we change the thoughts that we think about something, we can change how we feel about them. And when we change how we feel about them, that can affect everyone else around us. So, for example, I was talking with my business coach and I said, "Oh gosh, I'm just lucky to be able to get this one task done because I'm so tired and I'm still recovering from my surgery." And she said, "Instead of calling it lucky to get this done as if like you're barely capable of it, what if you call it a stretch?" And when I thought about that, when I just renamed, it's the exact same thing, right? But it's one of them is, "This is so hard and I'll never get everything done." And the other one is, "This is a stretch, but if I stretch, I can reach," right? It's within reach. And so reframing, it just gives us a more hopeful approach, and it opens up opportunities. Um, when and so how does this apply to gluten free? Well, this is the difference between it's impossible to find anything gluten free in my town versus I haven't found anything yet. Because when you say it's impossible, that puts a wall in place. You're never going to be able to get it done because why? It is impossible. There is no possibility. But if you say, "I just haven't done this yet," that leaves just a sliver of opportunity open. You haven't talked, unless you live in a really, really, really small town. And I know that some of you do, but like, you can go and talk to the restaurateurs and the chefs and ask them questions and see what they can do to work with you. That's a possibility. And until you have done that across the board, you don't actually know if things are impossible yet, right? So just shifting that thought makes things more possible. It opens up a little bit of room for you to try something different. And so I want you to think about that this week, and I want you to see if you can start owning that, and like, what can you do in your life to open up a couple of possibilities, and maybe things aren't quite as dire as you keep telling yourself, right? And just see what happens if you make a tiny little shift like that. So Andy or anyone else who's watching right now, if you have any questions about that, please do drop them in. I would love to answer any questions about reframing and mind shifts. And, this is something that I absolutely help my clients with. So, that's like part and parcel and part of the package of working with me. But figuring out how can I shift things to give myself more room for possibility, right? Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions at this time. So I'm going to move into the Q&A section. And since I don't have any questions in the comments section, Andy says, it's a great reminder. Thank you. Absolutely. Like this is one of the things that I do try to live by. And so it is important for me to share it with you. So let's move into the Q&A section. And again, if you have any other questions about being gluten-free, drop them in the comments. I am happy to talk about stuff with you. So Diana wrote, what do you eat when we're on a road trip? Okay. Oh my gosh, Diana. I love road trips. They are the best. I got to be honest, I actually loved road trips long before I went gluten-free, but like it kind of gives me this chance to kind of go nuts now because like I make sure there's room for all the humans or puppies or whoever's going to be in the car with me, and then pretty much the rest of the car and like the luggage and whatever, and then the rest of the car is just full of food. And I definitely overpack food because usually a road trip is you're going to a place. Sometimes you're just going in a big circle and you end up back at home, but a lot of times you're like going to a place. And if I don't know what options are going to be there, oh my gosh, I bring all my food with me. I will bring oatmeal that I can cook in the like with the water heated in the coffee pot at the hotel room. And I will bring granola bars and popcorn and just and I will bring fruit. And I've heard of people packing hard-boiled eggs, right? And hard cooked eggs, because we don't necessarily boil them anymore. Instant Pot is amazing for hard cooking eggs, by the way. And I am a big fan of that. But hard cooked eggs, and like you pack them in with lots of ice packed around them, and you keep them in a little baggie the whole time. And then you can put them in the refrigerator at the hotel or wherever it is that you're going. And it's a great way to bring protein with you if you can eat eggs. But I always do a special shopping trip before, like a day or two before the road trip, and I buy like at least a week's worth of food. And I will bring sandwich meat and make sure it's in the cooler, and I will bring bread, and you can get like little packets of mayonnaise or mustard or whatever on Amazon. And so I'll bring like a whole bunch of packets of those with me too. And it's kind of like, because I am someone who just loves food. So I am the kid in the candy store, and I will buy the chips and the junk that I know that I love. And it's like, yay, I have an excuse to eat this while I'm driving. If I think that I might need a meal, like I said, I can bring the sandwich supplies with me. Another alternative is that if I have an idea of what towns are along the way, I will do research beforehand, and I will look up like which towns have gluten-free restaurants in them, and then be like, let's stop here, and and it's like, hey, this place has a restaurant that's really highly rated. Let's go there. And the people that I'm traveling with are almost always, they're like, yeah, let's do it, because they love me and they want me to be able to eat too. And so if I'm offering suggestions, that takes the workload off of their plate. They don't have to think about it. And we can actually have the directions go directly to that restaurant. So that yeah, so I do. I scope out the towns along the way, and I look them up in the apps. And like the bigger towns are more likely to have something that's gluten free, but it's not a guarantee. You just kind of figure it out as you're going along. It's I don't know. I don't know about you, but for me, it's pretty rare for me to go on a road trip where I don't have at least a week's notice. I usually, but I'm also like one of those people that I really, 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 truly hate surprises. So people know not to spring stuff on me because it's like, I need to know where am I going to eat? And I need to know that I'm going to have food. So like something like a road trip, people don't generally surprise me with that. Um, there have been some trips that I've had to make like very, very last minute, and that can be a little challenging, but it's still doable. You keep stuff on hand, and that's what goes in the car is whatever's ready, you know? So that is everything that I have. I don't see any other questions at this time in the comments. So that's what I've got for you today. I hope that you have a glorious October, Friday the 13th, and enjoy yourself thoroughly. And I will see you next week I will not see you because I am doing a live replay of my masterclass. So if you were not able to attend the last one, I do hope that you will be able to join me this time. I will drop the link in the comments so that you can sign up. And absolutely, please do sign up and come join me. It is a live event. It is going to be interactive. You are going to get way more out of it by sitting there and talking with me than you are like afterwards. If I decide to record it, then, like sitting back and just watching the recording. I want you to be interactive and to talk with me because that makes the experience much more informative. And what are things that we're going to be talking about? We're going to talk about the myths that float around the gluten-free community. We're going to talk about the pillars of having a strong gluten-free life, right? These are the things that hold you up. That foundation that I was talking about, you got to have 4 pillars that hold up your roof of a gluten-free life in order to keep everything safe and secure and solid while you are out enjoying yourself, right? So I hope that you will sign up and join me, and I will talk to you. And I hope that I'll see you next Friday at the masterclass. I will not be doing a live next Friday. It is only at the masterclass that I will be talking to everyone. Okay. And then the following week, I will be back to doing a live here in the League of Gluten-Free Adventurers. All right. All right, everybody, take care and have a fabulous, fabulous October, Friday the 13th. Okay.